things are starting to get kind of crazy. So with the stock market, the crypto market, the housing market, everything going down in the dumps, it really begs the question, what's going to happen to business? What's going to happen to e-commerce? What's going to happen to you and I? So in today's video, I wanted to share with you a breaking news announcement from a huge $100 million e-commerce brand that just filed for bankruptcy. I want to talk about what this means for you and I today, what this means for e-commerce and business overall, but then we'll talk about some things that you and I can do to stay afloat during this recession. So the brand that I'm talking about is called Revlon, and you've probably heard of them. They're a huge beauty brand. They've been around since like 1930. They're a giant corporation. You know, they're getting very consistent traffic, over 300,000 monthly visitors, so their online presence is pretty good. But some of you may already know this. This is not just an e-commerce brand. This is actually a huge corporation. They have huge offices, like 5,000 employees, a huge team, just a ton of overhead. And this is really what's making them go bankrupt. So basically their biggest struggle is huge debt, competition, and when you top that with inflation and supply chain issues, it really is a recipe for disaster. So my point with this video is really not to be so doom and gloom. I want to actually give you some positive things here that you and I can apply to our businesses so that we don't go through a bankruptcy event. So let's take the context of e-commerce. Obviously, when it comes to investing, one of the best things you can do is just sit on the sidelines, wait for the dust to settle a bit, and then start investing. That's why one of my favorite strategies, which I got from my boy Warren Buffett, is just to average in slowly, you know, not putting all your money in at once, but just putting in little by little. Like every time you make a little bit of money, invest a little bit of money. That's a solid strategy that has been proven to work. But when it comes to e-commerce, the first thing that you can do in a recession is to obviously create a really strong brand that's built on a solid marketing strategy. So the good news is, skills will always pay the bills, no matter if we're in a recession, if we're not in a recession. The skill of running paid ads is always going to pay off. And how you build a strong brand is really by thinking about your customer a lot. So like that's really the key, is building a personal connection with your customer and having a really solid marketing strategy to top that off. So for example, a good marketing strategy that we're applying right now for a ton of our clients in e-commerce stores is using TikTok ads for cold traffic, since their results tend to be cheaper than Facebook, and then using Facebook to retarget those buyers, and then even creating lookalike audiences based on all of the traffic that we're getting from TikTok. When you mix in posting organically on TikTok, that's a super powerful marketing strategy. So that's a great example. The next thing that you can do in a recession for your e-com business is find new ways to provide value for your customers. So your biggest focuses should really be your marketing strategy, and then thinking how you can add more value to your customers. So what's cool about these things is that they apply to any business, guys. So even though we mostly talk about e-com here, these things can apply to literally every business, because that's what business is all about. So think of ways that you can add more value to your customer. For example, including freebies in your orders, right? Like adding some free stuff that you send your customers with every order, maybe like handwritten letters, giving your loyal customers free shipping, extra discounts, doing giveaways, posting educational content. These are all great things that you can do to provide value for your customers. And in turn, that will just make your business so much better. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, which is what Revlon is doing, and the reason why I wanted to share them, is just reduce your overhead and strengthen your margin. Like make sure that your profit margins are solid. Make sure that you're not taking on a ton of overhead. You know, don't hire 1 million employees. This is where I think hiring an agency can be really beneficial, because you don't have to go through the hassle of hiring a full-time employee, yet you still get the full-time employee benefits. And that's one of the reasons why a Chemi agency exists, which is my TikTok and Meta ads agency. But you get the point. Make sure that you're not spending unnecessarily. And in these times, it's super important to also not live above your means. I mean, this is more general advice, but it's true. Like if you're making 20K a month, you know, don't spend 15K a month on living expenses, right? Like live below your means as much as you can, so that when the dust settles, like we were talking about, you will be prepared to invest. These are all the things that I'm thinking about right now. So I'm just passing down my thoughts to you guys in hopes that it helps somebody. Now, if you like talking about these things like basically all day, but you have no circle of people around you that you can discuss these things with, that's also why we created our education-based community NetSphere. Right now, we're actually taking calls for our NetSphere Tier 2 Inner Circle, which is basically like a mentorship group and course hybrid. So if you want to join that, you can book a call with us to see if you'd be the right fit. All those links will be in the description for you guys. But that's all I got for today's video. I really hope that it helped you out in some way. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.